I think ultimately Rel would have made this composition a little bit easier to pilot, but I think given the lock-in of the Rakan, it's just such an easy choice here to put Peter on this. And maybe some plate they look for in trade. No, they're going to collapse instead.
Oh yeah, Sponge seeing what he can do here as the Grub goes down to 1 health. Sponge not in range for that one. Looks like Cuz is just happy with taking one of them down. Does still have his smite. Goes back in there, gives Sponge his 1 grub before he heads on over to secure the remainder. So 2-1 in favor of KT here as the charm going to connect on to Cuz. Realm Warp from BDD was awkward because now it's left Cuz completely alone. Now going in, they're doing the do-si-do as the flash forward from Peter doesn't get the heroic charge, but there is finally Sponge being taken down. Doctom caught in the river though, and this is a complete disaster on both sides. Everyone just getting caught out.
A kill for the Xayah.
Yeah, Teddy getting that kill is a huge deal as Pleta on a flank angle here as Doctom with no flash, just going to get feather stormed. Pullback comes on through and Doctom is just deleted once again.
Oh, that is not what he wants to have happen.
Extra gold over to BDD.
It's an even gold game here, for sure. You know, when you look across the board, some scattered gold leads for KT is, oh boy, Teddy.
Oh dear. Teddy might be giving away some of that cash money. He does have level 7, but remember that Featherstorm still on cooldown. He's got flash, but I just don't know whether he's going to be able to use it, and they give the money to Doctom. That is exactly what KT wants.
Not necessarily leading to significant game-losing advantages, but see if Sponge can find an angle here.
Yeah, Pleta wanting to try and get in there as well as Yukal's come round from the side. Blast Cone's over as Pleta finds the quickness and they just blow up the Xin Zhao immediately. That will be the Drake secured here by Sponge as well. And man, the pendulum just continues going back and forth, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Back at it again in the grub pit here, seeing whether they can lock this one down. First one goes over to Cuz. That's going to get at least 3 for KT. But it goes in, and BDD now in trouble. The charm's fantastic because trying to get rid of them. That Blade Caller was brilliant from Teddy, though, as now Peter looking to try and protect Doctom. BDD in the back of the pit, and they just get murdered. The Doggo going to lock that one down, as that is not a great charm, and casting out of there with the Blast Cone. KT still on the ropes, though, is now casting able to flash his way out. Flash from Doctom there as well. Yukal goes in, and there's the charm. It looks like Peter is going to be the sacrifice as Rich is able to flash his way out. There are a lot of flashes now on cooldown. And he might be able to put that added pressure on DRX, force them to make a decision. As KT get information, BDD on the wraparound as Peter able to avoid the charm nicely. Pleta a little bit awkwardly positioned as there is the keeper's verdict. The flash in from Peter to start the fight as Sponge is getting equalized, has to flash all the way out of the fight as the Featherstorm used so aggressively. And I don't know whether I necessarily agree with it, as now Rich diving on in, casting to slow him down, but there's the kill onto Cuz, and DRX somehow just made it work.
They made it work, and I think putting all of your engage tools there and committing onto the Nefiri was probably not the game plan in terms of her pressing W and saying, I'm out of here, just noping out of the whole situation. Means that DRX are able to then get the collapse there. Ooh. And they're just so much more coordinated in these fights. It's a Chemtech Soul, which I don't really love here, but
a bullet time is there to stop that approach, right? And yes, you will put himself in harm's way, but maybe that's going to be your way of getting something. Is now BDD trying to get out of the way. It looks like Cuz going to be the target as the quickness comes on forward, and he is just going to be obliterated.
What is happening?
Well, it's not necessarily working here for KT, as Pleta's going to battle dance his way out. Finally, we do see that bullet time, and
there you go.
Equalizer actually that's able to take down the Rakan, and now everyone diving in on top of Teddy and Yukal. The Harpoon going to connect. The Featherstorm comes down as well, and that is going to keep Teddy safe. But look at this.
Two turrets in trade, one of them an inner. And this is not what KT was looking for. They have the Realm Warp.
Another charge is now Peter looking for Yukal, who just flashes out of the way. And this is just over-indexing.
All right, let's follow up. I'm going to Realm Warp. We're going to hyper dive this. Maybe we'll even get the inner. It just felt like they were like, all right, let's see if we can get this turret. Uh-oh, it's a disaster. Let's see if we can salvage it. And whereas everything else that DRX have been doing this game, especially in terms of team fights, but also on the map, feels very planned out. You know, it feels like it's very methodical.
Yeah.
The way they're playing this game out. Weak angle to exploit, to attack.
Well, it could just be BDD. As now Rich could be in trouble as well. Keeper's verdict is going to knock him up as he looks for Doctom, but it doesn't quite work out. BDD going to be able to teleport his way out of here. Yeah. What happened? Where did he just, yeah, Realm Warped. his way to safety and then teleports all the way over towards this Otacon as now Pleta could be in trouble. And Yukal is going to make his way in. The doggo is a very long way away. Equalizer just to try and deter Yukal. But it should be Cuz that's able to lock this one down, and there it goes. And now Pleta finds himself the quickness. Casting probably sent home first, but Pleta, it's going to go down. There is that recall that we were talking about. Teddy able to pull back some of these feathers, but only gets BDD, and he's pretty tanky right now. Yukal still trying to be annoying as Teddy caught in the rune prison and just deleted. DRX, you cannot be going for fights like this as Sponge might be able to clean up, but remember, these are just recalls and BDD probably didn't need to flash, but still, maybe he doesn't even get sent home as Rich comes on over. Finally, he does get sent back, and now I think the cleanup should be working out unless Sponge dies. If he dies, it is possibly over for DRX as Rich possibly burnt to a crisp here. But not going to happen, and so KT lacking some of their buffs now.
Yeah, insta-pings going down onto the Dragon on both sides, as that's going to be the next setup here. Sponge full health. As,
oh no, Rich. To make it rain, invests the flash. Don't know about that one, but still, that was incredible. It's like watching Milo and Otis, you know?
If Sponge gets a steal here, oh god, he's not going to, but
he doesn't even need to go for it, right? They've already got 2 dragons in the pocket.
Let's go!
The good old Raptor for Baron trade is what they're looking for here as it's down to 3,000 because they do evict the Rakan. Is now the bullet time finally in a good position. Casting dives forward though. I don't know about it because he's just going to get taken out. These health bars are so low, but still it's KT that are lying on the floor. Doctom needs to get some of these autos to land as Sponge goes untargetable and out goes the rest of DRX. So they do kill the Nefiri. They take down the Smite, but they sacrifice 2 on the distance. Having a look here at the gold graph, it really was sort of that one decisive fight for DRX, and then they were able to make basically no headway. There's a really cool hat on this Rise as well. Woven, sorry.
He also has his arm guard. He opted for the Death Note as well. Like he's ready for this next team fight to be the one that ends the game and snowballs him to a victory here. Let's go in.
Yeah, he's looking for the angle as Sponge goes untargetable. Great knock-up as Pleta is going to be the first target. Not quite able to stop him from escaping as now BDD looks for the angle and Sponge is just going to be cut to shreds. Does finally get that cooldown back, but it is not enough. And back-to-back deaths might just mean the KT lockdown this Baron. Sponge, oh no!
Teddy wishes he had his ult right now.
Oh, there's some shock blast damage, but Peter is looking pretty durable. Pleta, not so much. As Casting with some harpoons doing some work here. As Peter just gets rid of the Ahri. Now it's 5 versus 3 around this Baron pit, and KT will be able to lock it down. Cuz with the Smite picks that one up, and now Casting is just going to die as they all take the Realm Warp out of there.
Rich tries to go in and interrupt that one and stop them from getting out, but he's unsuccessful. Placed as, okay.
All right, we're just looking to try and kill Yukal, who's smacked against the wall and taken out. There is still a turret here as well. And so KT might be able to augment this Baron with even more money.
Outer top turret, but that's not usually... It's on the list of Baron achievements that I'd put on my wall.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, it's a 2,000 gold Rebel Baron power play, right? Like, it's not terrible.
So they really can't make that tough call.
Yep, Yukal finds the charm actually onto Casting, who finally has an arm guard. Now we're realm warping, we're looking for the angle. Rich just flashing away, but KT, they get the angle. They take down turret number 1. There goes turret number 2. And now Yukal looking for it in this back line. Doesn't find the charm. They'll lose the dragon, but in trade for 3 turrets, you're probably taking that. As KT, where do we go from here? Where's the out? How does that one work? As in goes the quickness up Rakan. Equalizer doing some work here though as KT just back out the way they came, I guess. There's the flash out from Casting, and now Sponge might be in the wrong position.
Fine, he's all right.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to flash, doesn't need to worry about anything. But KT are going to look for the Keeper's Verdict here to deny the entry.
Yeah, they get rid of Pleta to start this one off as Sponge going to have to be an absolute hero. But look at this, the Baron is just eliminated. They do take out the Poppy, but now the Realm Warp looking to get them to safety. Casting is a sacrificial rumble. He's dead. There's nothing that he's going to be able to do about that one. And they'll trade 2 for a Baron. Hang on. Is this Soul for Nexus? Because remember, if they just keep taking turrets, they've got buffed up minions, and that could just be 2 inhibitors to be taken.
The Dragon wasn't even up. DRX really dropped the ball here. KT just
10
walked
seconds
around them, and DRX, bit of a late punish here. Now, can they get the punish is the question. The inhibitors got on that. That's no question, but how many do DRX kill?
Yeah, Dom runs really quickly. And this is something that they've already done. They've just given them the runaround as there is the flash charm from Yukal.
BDD pushing mid at the same time.
Walks up. I think it's utilizing the right-click function of his mouse wolf. That's what he's doing.
And they're not stopping him. They're going to try to look for Chemtech Soul instead as BDD is looking to end the game.
Yeah, he's pinging on the Nexus turrets. It's all right. Sponge is going to be... No! It's Cuz denying the Dragon Soul as well, and BDD takes down the first Nexus turret. Now the Equalizer is down. That one was gorgeous. DRX are just falling apart. KT, it's just one after the other. Better decisions. The flash is gorgeous from BDD, and he walks out of his own realm warp because he just does not need it, ladies and gentlemen.
Shot calling voice here.
Oh, watch them just win. Okay, Peter is just going to look to walk this one off. It does not quite work.
Now, BDD did not use his teleport, so he can't just teleport right back in here.
The good old naked Nexus situation here. Dom only needs about 4 shots onto that one as Rich is going to boot Cuz away. And BDD, look at that. He's just walking towards this Nexus. Dom just sees a few autos, flashes out of the way, and KT will get the comeback victory here in game 1, but it was not clean.
I think it's fairly even. The biggest concern for me is how the early laning phase is going to go between Teddy and Dom, because you're supposed to, air quotes, get a nice advantage with the Varus in this lane matchup, but
looking pretty nice in this early stage of the game.
And he almost blinded it, but they decided to go for the Rel instead. I think that was definitely the right choice. A bit of a fight here.
Yeah, Chains of Corruption does just go wide. They had to use the heal to get that extra bit of movement speed, but still, that is KT with a button missing. And they no longer have that to utilize, as they did hit level 6 earlier. Dom actually using that teleport to get that level advantage.
Rich not even having to flash there. Really good movement. The ult misses, but I don't think he's too worried about it. Yukau's going to come over for a punish.
Yeah, Magical Journey coming on through there as Peter only level 4. BDD comes on over, and Peter is actually going to survive. His casting is just going completely ballistic. There's the Infernal Chains, and Yukau is going to get taken down. First blood picked up by his opposite number in the mid lane. Sponge is going to be able to get in here to really challenge too much for the first one, as Cuz does lock that one down.
Committed the smite, so maybe he will be able to trade. As if you commit that one, that's kind of your, I was saying, I'm not holding grubs. I'm smiting and I'm getting out. And you only get one, so Sponge can secure this one without smiting, and then secure the last one, as long as his teammates stay relatively nearby.
Yeah.
And they are not.
Cuz going to move on over, as Sponge now not going to get flicked back, but he's not going to be getting this grub either. So DRX going to have to settle for 4. They're going to be pretty happy about that one, though. Yeah, the Ambessa also is going to get better and better, as now BDD forced to flash. As Sponge going to get thrown back into the rocks. Peter finds the Shattering Strike, as there's the Magnet Storm. Connects onto a couple, but there is a gorgeous use of the Impale. And now Casting is looking to try and turn it all around. Dom turns up as well. One after the other. He's knocking him down. And Teddy's pulled back. Casting just does a drive-by. Leaves that one up to his mid laner, as this guy is a man possessed.
A lot more power in team fights, a lot more consistent engaged, but the Aatrox he's still got, and he is still making work.
Well, Rich is going to see what he can find, as Umbral Dash is going to be the counter. As it turns out, Cuz now able to take this Cloud Drake, and oh man, that is a Hextech Soul. Hoverboard things. As all right, Sponge and Rich going to see whether they can at least grab a structure here.
Hey, grub power.
Yeah.
They will not get the first one, though.
They will not. And they will also miss out on Feats of Strength for that reason, as we've got some immediately upgraded Merc Treads here for Casting. As, yeah, DRX, they do commit to it, and they do manage to take that one down. Dom here in the mid lane is very comfortably able to take control.
Relevant already, but you need to make sure they don't get engaged on.
Whoa, Peter is just looking for it. Okay, BDD, can you find a seismic shove? The answer is no, as now he's face-to-face with Rich. There's an Impale onto 2, but where's the follow-up? There is the public execution, but KT have kept most of them alive until now, as down goes Cuz. BDD trying to get himself out of there, as Dom finally able to affect the fight, but instead, he walks away. And as we say it, KT just go boom. We're able to get it back with some weird shenanigans, as maybe we're going to see some weird shenanigans here as 63 health, and it's Ezreal that locks down the Rift Herald. Eye picked up there by Sponge. And it looks like we are not going to have any weird stuff unless Peter decides to die, which is perhaps what he's going to do.
Looking for another engage here with a good split of DRX right now.
Oh, shove going to be used onto Platter, and he's just dead. He does manage to temper Fate himself, but unfortunately, Fate, once it's tempered, it just comes out of the tempering, and then you're still dead. As True Shot Barrage is going to soften up Doctorm just a little bit, but now 4 versus 5. This is going to be a difficulty as Peter was thinking about trying to find an angle, but it looks like it's just going to be Soul Point.
They have the Herald
for maybe this outer turret. Yeah, the Rift Herald going to be used. Gets a nice charge. But now DRX, can they actually finish it off? And Sponge looking to try and drive his way out. Does manage to do so. It's now Teddy. Oh my god, casting! Flashing on top of him! The Infernal Chain setup is gorgeous! And he just executes the Ezreal. Now he's looking for a little bit more. Doesn't get the Q knock-up as the Impale is going to be there. But it's casting that's dictating the end of the world here. It is not you, DRX. And Sponge is going to get brought back to reality. In goes casting once again as the magical journey is taken.
They try to push the mid turret. They will get it here.
Yeah, well, will they? Is okay. In goes Rich. PDD makes it out via the Death Chamber, and that's the Ambessa grabbing a kill. This turret is almost dead. It's like
the game might be the final nail in the coffin.
Yep. And that is going to be Sterix now completed here as Teddy taking a lot of damage. There's the Flash Magnet Storm after the Arcane Shift, and Teddy gets sleepy. He does manage to cleanse it away, but now Doctorm comes on over. Tempered Fate comes down, and it is just over for DRX. They lose their jungler, they lose their AD carry. They're going to lose the Dragon and maybe Otacon and this outer turret.
Yeah, and I mean, that's, I think, the final last straw here that broke the camel's back. DRX back broken, now going to come over here and look for some sort of entry into this Dragon Pit, but I just do not see it. No jungler, and it's Otacon, it's Hextech Soul. Teddy did not have Flash. His positioning so suspect, to be totally frank, in that last setup to try to push their way into Dragon.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like game 1 is wearing on DRX as we look here towards game number 2. That would have been a difficult time in the coach's booth and also a difficult time walking away from your PC after losing what should have been your game 1. I think we're seeing the results of that one right here as Hextech Soul on the board. Sponge looking to make his way in as Peter just trying to be a hero as they try and burst it down, and they do manage to do that. Cuz now in a bit of trouble here as the circle does go down, but remember, they have the Voracious Otacon. Rich is still going to die as Doctorm puts an arrow in him as, what was that? Why are we taking that magical journey? That's so strange. Yukal might still be dead here as Casting's just having a great time. And Sponge going to be the consolation Scorpion here for the Aatrox to slurp up. And remember, they have a Weaver's Wall, so that is going to be able to block any sort of approach. Yeah, Yukal's on vision, and Peter is just going to play guard man.
Again.
Yeah, just gets them out of there. That is going to be the Baron over to KT. They have already got Hextech Soul. I mean, honestly, that feels like game over. Just because they've got Lethality Varus with Hextech Soul, and so that means Doctorm is just going to take pot shots forever.
He flashed again somewhere as well, so he still doesn't have his flash up.
In fact, no one does, which is pretty ridiculous. There is a great Shattering Strike onto Pleta as BDD looks for the rocks, and he'll find him as Doctorm is just going 1v2. Sponge now has no damage follow-up as the shield comes in, and I just don't think that Sponge is going to be able to do it. Doctorm will be able to take him down. That's a double, as now Rich is getting tired, he's getting sleepy, and Casting's going to put him in the ground. This one's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, there in the final moments, 0 deaths on this Varus. It's a hard POM vote. Like, I feel like it was
pretty cool while he was doing it, which is very impressive. 5.3K on the Rebel Baron power play here.
Yeah, this is
seconds still to go.
Significantly larger than the last one.
I would say so.
Yeah, as Rich is looking for some bounty gold here in the top lane, that's the state of this game. He doesn't have TP. He is not coming home anytime soon, and they're just going to look for another inhibitor here.
Yeah, and remember, if anyone gets tagged by anything, they're almost just dead because you then get the follow-up of all of the CC. Rich will be able to get this, but it's in trade for everything. True Shot Barrage does connect onto 2, but there's a Magnet Storm onto the rest, and we blinked, and then 2 were dead. Down goes Pleta, down goes
right.
Sponge.
That's a
unending despair. That's what he just picked up. And honestly, I feel like he already had it. As there's a flick back onto Yukal, he's destroyed as well. And the public execution is unfortunately for Rich himself. Down go these Nexus turrets, and KT with a 2-0. But remember, we are not allowed to say it's clean because it absolutely wasn't, even if this game number 2 kind of was.
It was a messy 2-0. There is a lot to see here, Atlas, but at least the momentum does continue for KT Rolster. The advantage is down there in the bottom side, so Skarner going to have a lot of prio there. Top side, we'll see how Clear plays this one out into Kingan's Gwen. He's eating a Doran's shield now as well.
Ooh, he might get eaten though. As Gideon looking to come in here as there is the flash. It's the slow, and that's going to be enough. Gideon going to take first blood here on the Xin Zhao, and it's a brilliant start for Nongshim.
Huge win here. Type unlocked.
Very interesting. As the handshake comes through, Lahan's taking a fair bit of damage. There is the flash into the pulverizers. Diablo did not pick up turret aggro, but Gideon's here. Diablo's going to see whether he can kill Jiu, but he's going to miss the hail of arrows, and that is going to be a second one for the Xin Zhao. Cancel that back. We do have the Dragon started up here by B&K. There's still 1,000 gold down, though. There's 2 early kills here for the Xin Zhao. So scary.
But they're utilizing,
Gideon's going to have so much control.
They're utilizing that lane prio that we talked about in draft really well down here on the bottom side. So Raptor knows this is where they're going to have a big edge. This is where they can push for those big leads. And they've utilized where Gideon is on the map quite well to at least get this objective early. They won't be able to contest these grubs, however. And hence,
yeah, he's hex flashing in. Vikla in trouble once more as he unbinds the soul, pops back, and then dashes forward with the Q. He's going to be all right. Skellen comes over. That's going to be 3 grubs on the way here for Gideon. Locks that one up very comfortably.
Is the lead here for Diablo. The prio got them a dragon, but it didn't stop the grubs from going over as Lahenz is here again.
Yeah, Heba Pulp going to come in as Vikla is just dead once more. That's a killing spree over to the Xin Zhao, and this Yone is not working.
Here is an all-in.
Yeah, throws down the ulti. Does have cleanse up and available as in comes the Realm Warp, but Raptor just gets rid of Calyx immediately, and the Impale is going to lock down the cow. Diablo doesn't get the kill, but Raptor is happy to pick that one up, and B&K, beautiful defensive play.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on this call. You had the Realm Warp, but I don't think this one's on Geo. You know, he's got the angle. He knows he has the ult on 2.
As well as the optimal target. Maybe a little bit unfortunate as far as Realm Warp positioning is. Lahenz, he's pulverizing again. Gideon wanting to make his way over as now there's no equalizer and no hope as Kingan gonna lock that one down. And Lahenz going to 3 games. They do not get 2-0'd. But sometimes they have whoopsies. This is going to be another example of said whoopsie, as Gideon is a lot further ahead than Raptor. Raptor, though, does manage to count the 1-2-3 knockup and then gets himself out of there. Still, it was only 1 grub picked up by B&K, and it should be 5-1.
Didn't even get the Heartsteel stack.
Oh no, that's a tragedy.
Big miss. Went for the PTA. See what else he builds here is Clear's gonna ult this wave.
Yeah.
And still die.
Yeah, he's very, very dead. The equalizer doesn't do very much other than clear out the minions.
That has a 500 gold lead. Gwen that has a 1,000 gold lead. They both have 5 grubs. Look at Kingan go.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll race for turret. No, I don't think so. I think you lose that race, but at least they're gonna look for a second dragon. It's Cloud Soul. So small victories here for B&K, but beats of strength on the menu.
Yep. That is going to be the turret being taken down here by Nongshim. There it goes. As Vikla does manage to find an okay trade here into Calyx.
Quite unusual draft in terms of how they're utilizing the Zeri pick. But
Kellen. The handshake does come through, but the wind becomes lightning does, and unfortunately he goes the same side as Gideon, as there is the equalizer. Sorry, not the equalizer, the Impale, as Diablo's over the wall, but so is Kingan. The needlework is good, and where did the Varus go? Clear will turn up, but unfortunately they don't have their AD carry. That is a decent ulti from Vikla, though, as Kingan will be taken down, and now Clear gets in amongst it. Raptor's there as well, and it is going to now be a 3v3 as Calyx turns up, and Jiu in the top lane.
Okay, can't even cross-map that one. Maybe look for a dive here past this turret. They say no. It's just going to be a freebie for Nongshim.
Yep. And that could then be used in the mid lane, try and deny this dragon stacking.
B&K just don't have enough information to try to punish that reset. Nongshim know it, so they get away with it. Get a better, more secure dragon take. And look like they're going to get mid-turret as well. As Gio is just going to take it out.
Yep, so there is turret number 2. going on over the Drake at the same time. They get a crash on the top side, and this bottom lane outer turret is very, very low. But it looks like BNK unable to actually trade anything other than that. Them around the map. This macro play is gorgeous as Chiu not going to get caught because he can skate through walls.
They can look for a turn here.
Clear.
It's basically
find a teleport angle. Let's see. Because Kellen, if he gets on this with a really good ulti, that could be a whole lot of value. As it's Ruinous Archon, remember, that's going to go down. It's now BNK looking for it. There is a decent angle on the ulti from Vikler as they lock down Lehens. There's 2 kills already here for BNK. The knock up onto Gideon is good as Vikler dives on forward. Clear and Diablo are getting low though, and Jew pops off. The answer is there. It's a Quadra as Calyx, the last man standing, is very used to in the game, where he gets his certification and is pretty psyched about it, as Clear is going to chase down Calyx. Raptor going to join in as well, as I think the Rise is just dead. There he goes. No assist going over to Diablo, unfortunately, but there is something back here for BNK. As, all right, we look for a bit of an angle on Vikler's side. Kingan's in so much trouble, actually. Another knock-up, and he's almost just straight up dead.
Yeah, I was actually worried for Vikler initially there.
You hear?
He's got his Immortal Shield Bow now. See if that helps.
Oh dear, there's a knockup. They think they've got a bit of a catch here as they deliver Gideon to the team. Not sure about that one as the bailout doesn't quite work, but down goes the Varus. Kellen is barely surviving as Vikler looks for an ulti on a Geo but doesn't get it. It's a big shield, but not big enough as the ram into the wall under the cow. It's Clear he's going to be able to barbecue him, but now the rest of them, they need to get the hell out and the hell out fast.
They are so doomed if they do not get out, and they will. At least 2 of them survive. Raptor and Kellen. Nongshim are just going to turn this into their second Cloud Drake of the game.
The enemy team.
Yeah, it's a tricky Varus angle for sure.
Yeah.
Great in lane, though.
Well, Calyx has found Kellen, who just explodes. And now Wind becomes lightning. There's the extendo beam as well. Decent impale as they do look to try and take down Gideon, but he goes into that circle. In goes Vikler as well, though. And down goes the cow as now Diablo wants to find it. He flashes, but it's not going to be enough to take down Calyx, and they are too far behind, ladies and gentlemen. It's a double kill over to this Rise, and now I think Nongshim can just grab themselves a Baron.
Diablo, man, he's one man against the world in this game. He's trying his best. His positioning is good. As Clear wants to come over here and look for a denied, but he does not have his ultimate. He does not have flash, and he is likely dead.
Yes.
He's very dead. Man, this game is really off the rails here for B. Yeah, this Rise kind of doing the boom boom.
Okay, well, the Baron is down to 3K as we jump back to live. It's now dead as Kingan's over the wall. I'm not sure about Raptor's positioning in this fight. I think he's just going to die as now Gideon looking to find even more. As Diablo in melee range is certainly something that's going to be difficult to contend with as Kingan over the wall. Vikler looks to try and take him out as Chiu. He's going to get another kill at the same time. And look at that health bar. He is extremely happy with the game state right now. It's a triple kill for Calyx. And yeah, BNK, I think they are not going to be in this game for very much longer, as there's a nice little knock-up. He still had ulti. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Gideon was apprehensive, and he should have been.
Yeah.
But I think they'll take the extended back here, the back delay, for Nexus. I think they'll take the trade. I think they're very happy with how this draft played out in game 1. Nongshim with a huge win here.
Yep. And Vikler doesn't even go back to his soul. He just goes up to the heavens. As Calyx and Geo have got enough damage to deal with Raptor, although that's a nice impale, and Geo's just dead. So maybe the Nexus will live for a little longer.
I really want to talk about Diablo, but I guess we won't get a chance to.
Well, Raptor is trying to get bailed out. Chains of Corruption coming on in there as Diablo headbutt pulls, and then he's not able to do auto attacks. Still, there is no follow-up as the Realm Warp does absolutely nothing. This is, it's gone strange. The game has gone strange, Wolf.
It has gone strange, but we have to remember ultimately this is a third and now sole point here, Cloud Dragon for Nongshim. They already have a, basically essentially 10,000 gold lead here. He's like identified himself as the main character, and it's not main character syndrome, it's just the truth.
Yes, he has to. He has to be the one to get it done. I think Vikler has actually had a better closing out of the game thus far as well, but I think really some costly mistakes in the early game were not exactly helping out the BNK win conditions. As, all right, there's the flash in from Gideon, finds an ulti, but ultimately doesn't really do very much of anything at all, as the bailout is actually going to work. Diablo goes golden, but I think he's still dead. There he goes. And B&K, they are going to be able to go out with a bang, but go out they will, as it's Chiu to finish off the ace, and Nongshim with their Exodia composition.
The Scion almost felt like, to me, it was a denial pick, because we've seen so many Scions into Naafiri. It's so hard to break that health pool. Even with the Ezreal here, it's just so tanky. I do think that Nongshim, with the faster group up here, should feel pretty fine about the situation, although...
Yep, Lehens goes in. Untargetable is Raptor, though, as there's another crash down from Kellen. Nicely done. The bleed still working. There's the Flash Emperor's Divide, and that is going to deliver them a beautiful heroic charge from Gideon. Seismic Shove goes wide, and Nongshim able to regroup and head towards these grubs.
Nongshim are just aware from start to finish, every single member of B&K, where they were, the choke point they had to go through. And going back to the question about when does B&K's comp actually fight, well, this was definitely not where I thought the first one would occur, where they would actually commit in, but they did, and it was disastrous. So Raptor will secure this at least.
Yeah, Gideon does still have Flash, as Vikla going to get that Flash out of him. Flash might be a little bit more dangerous. Play out this top lane as some rocks go down in the mid lane, and another Emperor's Divide being looked for and will be found. The flash comes through, but it's still going to slam Vikla into the wall of Sand Soldiers, and Gideon and Calyx look real good with this combo.
Yeah, really clean here from Calyx and Gideon. A lot of good news here for B&K just yet. Kellen has control of this choke point. They do have the TP in from Clear. See if they can turn this into a team fight, but it's so awkward.
Yeah, there's the crash down from Kellen to try and get him out of there, but that's a decent wall. Gideon gets rid of two, though, and then the heroic charge onto Vikla. He puts down some rocks and tries to get rid of them, but Lehens just catches him out, and Calyx grabs another one. Now they're looking to make their way back in as Kellen finds a Magnet Storm. Lehens gets the Solar Flare gorgeously, though. Another heroic charge. Gideon is on an absolute tear today. My God, this guy.
And Diablo just wasn't even there. There's no damage in this fight. Once you lose your Talia on here.
1-0-3 on this Poppy. My God, Gideon is just a man possessed.
The fight.
Steedle? 300, 200, Treasure Barrage. There we go. Nicely done by Diablo.
See, Diablo was helping, actually.
Actually,
he was there. Never mind. Okay, it really just isn't working out.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're just seeing the symptoms of it all over the map.
Like, the trades there we did see were kind of all right for Clear, and I think that if they are ever able to get themselves into an honest 5v5,
and this is just going to be another free turret, it looks like. Demolish procs.
Feats of Strength. So that is Nongshim locking it down. Some upgraded shoes now going to be there, as the Unstoppable Onslaught is going to bring the Scion to a wall. And Clear doesn't exactly have a huge health bar and then just gets stunned up. Even the Mystic Shot is not going to connect True Shot Barrage, but it's not going to take down the Kai'Sa before she kills the Scion. And Kingen, in the meantime, is in the bottom lane destroying turrets.
Two turrets down here.
All right, Diablo's getting angry. He wants to take matters into his own hands. It's kind of working.
They got three, all three. And do you get Lehens? I'm not sure.
Lehens going in, gets the flash. That's an immediate cleanse as the heroic charge doesn't quite do enough. As Diablo then finds an Azir. Lehens also surviving for so incredibly long as Vikla looking for Geo on the backline and does manage to find him. Clear teleported in, Gideon gets another heroic charge. The seismic shoves are just not finding the mark, and it's a double kill for Kingen. B&K are just falling apart in this series as Vikla, with no more mana left, is looking to try and get something back, but Clear and him just gonna have to walk away.
I keep going back to that question I asked earlier. When do you fight? They forced this one, and it looked like maybe the best case scenario they were ever going to have is Gio kind of face planted into the fight. They have the Talia, they have the rocks.
That's all right. If at first you don't succeed, let's just go for it again as he's in and then he's out. As Gio is still in a whole lot of trouble, as there's another crash down here from Kellen. Magnet Storm picks up a couple, as now Lehens looks for an angle. The Killer Instinct is so good as Diablo. Can they protect him? The answer is yes! Lehens gonna go down as well, and the Emperor's Divide just to get rid of a Scion is not the play you want to see. B&K back on the map, and Kingen is in the bottom lane, doing exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah, Kingen is just gonna keep pushing this until Clear shows up. We'll get an extra turret, so gold lead, slight deficit, kind of improved here by B&K, but...
Equalization of dragons if Nongshim are able to get it, and it looks like B&K have no interest in contesting for this one. So another Chemtex, oh my God, there have been way too many of these, man. You are absolutely right. It is getting curious.
Yeah, a little suspicious, I'm just saying. I think everyone's kind of turning the other way, but I'm looking like an abnormally large amount. As Diablo is
This is another engage here as Gideon trying to be the hero, and Clear always finds these angles onto Geo. Raptor looking for it as well. The Magnus Storm, it's just a dog pile, quite literally, on top of this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Geo's having a bit of a rough mid-game here. Constantly getting caught or just engaging in a little bit too early and dying.
Yeah, well, Emperor's Divide going to throw Raptor underneath the inner turret. He does go untargetable, but I don't know whether it's quite enough. They do take down Lehens. The dog survives, and then Italy is taking another turret. I don't even know whether this is worth for B&K in the end, as Kingin is looking for this 1v1 into Clear as well, or is Clear looking for the 1v1 into Kingin? I'm just not entirely sure, but he is just going to back away after eradicating yet another structure. As now Raptor going untargetable here into Calix, who doesn't have the ulti and is taking a lot of damage from the doggos. The flash forward, conquering Sands, and down goes the Nefiri.
Watching this ensuing fight is, it's funny to watch Raptor go fly, but
yeah,
that is going to be the Otacon taken just for free and live. Not entirely sure what the vision setup was, as they're looking for something onto Lehens at the same time.
Yep, Lehens dies in the replay to get his work done. I mean, Gideon was spotted there, and look at that, the Demolish proc, it's just dead.
He three-shots the turret.
Yep. As Roar the Slayer doesn't quite connect, so Kingin's just able to get himself out of there, and then as the push and pull happens, Nongshim are able to move in towards this inner turret as Geo, oh god, okay, Magnus Storm onto 3, Kellen finds the angle, and now they're looking to try and send them home, picking up some gold in the meantime as well as Calix, oh god, the Mega Cone is gonna not exactly do what Diablo wants it to, and yeah, this Azir is also a bit of a problem, as Kingin gonna get knocked up, as Clear realizes that, I mean, it's kind of hopeless, isn't it, trying to fight this guy?
There are a few problems, I would say, here on the side of Nongshim that B&K are struggling to solve, and this one may be the biggest of them, as Kingin, he has Sundered Sky, he has his Hullbreaker, he has Res.
Yeah.
Well, he is withdrawn, potentially?
Yeah, the Crashdown comes in. What are we doing, guys? Are we trying to hold on to just see whether we can buy some time?
They want a pet cat, Atlas!
Well, there's the ulti and a flash that they now have to use as they're just trying to... Oh, maybe they're just waiting for the timer? Just hold him in position, guys. And there it is, the buff is now worn off, and now it's a real kill. Congratulations, guys, an extra 100 gold. Unless they can't, there it goes. Okay, so Vikla is able to lock that one down.
Sorry guys, Caster Chris, I said he wasn't gonna die, but I guess he technically did.
Hey. Well, Clear doesn't have ulti, as Raptor flips over the wall. Lehens dealing with a whole bunch of pets, as there's a nice little knock-up. Weaver's Wall just going to break off the rest of this fight. Lehens trying to get himself out of there. The Crashdown doesn't quite work, but there goes the Leona to start this one off. Gideon getting rid of the Scion so they don't follow up with anything more, and Kingin did have teleport, but he wasn't alive.
Nope. 2 kills, let's see if they can get more.
All right, Raptor going for even more here as the Empress Divide now on cooldown. Diablo, they just need to protect him. Another Magnus Storm comes in as there's a beautiful flick. Gideon in trouble though, and down goes Kingin. Sorry, not Kingin, Kellen, the other one with a K. As True Shot Barrage, ooh, looking for the snipe, doesn't quite get it onto Jiu, who is very, very low.
Very low, didn't have barrier, but had the locket as well as his killer instinct to survive that last exchange. He's super low now, and they're trying to turn around.
Yeah, Clear really doesn't want to use his ultimate defensively, as Gideon taking a lot of damage. And there he goes, and there he goes down, as the Zombie Scion actually going to be helping out here for a few moments. Calix goes golden, and Clear will find a few autos. Jiu just still trying to be useful, but it's so difficult at such a low health bar, and Diablo also playing in similar condition. Immediately Arcane shifts forward. That's what we want to see out of this young man, as Jiu's in trouble yet again. Raptor managing to pick up the kill pretty comfortably, and that was not the keeper's verdict that Gideon was looking for. Still he's able to run, but is it actually going to get him to safety, as Raptor is going to chase him down and say nope, it is absolutely not, as now Clear looking to turn it. Another seismic shove, and Diablo's over the wall. Lehens in trouble, he does have the Eclipse, but it is not enough to keep him alive. Calix finds 3 with the ulti, but there's no follow-up. Does he need it though? That's the question. He takes down the damage. Shattering strike from Kellen, and Raptor is running away, and I don't think Kellen's going to be as lucky. Why is every fight like this?
I mean, it was so close for B&K. It looked so good for them, but they chased way too deep onto that Azir, and this time Calix pressed his R button. And here, 15 seconds on Diablo. So many super minions though in the base. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and Kingin just does so much damage to these structures as Raptor looks to go untargetable. Clear is going to turn up, and that is going to mean the Nongshim have to vacate the area. So it cost them, yeah, 1 inhibitor turret, for the Baron.
Okay,
and that should be the big winner.
I think that they could have just done this off of the outset, done a reset and come over there, but they decided to try to end the game. They did not get the mid inhibitor, by the way, so that one actually stays alive because they walked through it to try to end. So that's actually huge for BNK. I don't think they can deny this Baron in any world, though. They're just going to try to push out this mid wave preemptively to keep this inhibitor alive. Although,
the Baron's just taken.
Yeah, they thought about maybe going over there, but it's a little bit too slow, and just take this dragon, and Nongshim are considering contesting it, but don't actually push anywhere. This Baron may not be real. Yeah, let's
double the den. Only one Nexus turret between Nongshim and the first 2-0 victory over BNK of the season, and Jiu's in the top lane trying to make that one happen. Raptor really needs to get in here and start something, and they are going to do so. Out comes the Scion as well, and Calix is the target, but he's able to, never mind! He's shot down, Diablo gets on top of him, Lehens also to be taken out here, and Raptor is able to follow up onto Jiu. I don't know whether he's going to survive this as King and flashes after him. Diablo, you need to hit those! You need to hit those Mystic shots, as Kingen now going to try and take them on a merry goose chase here, and I don't know whether this is going to change the outcome of the game, nor is that True Shot Barrage going to be able to take down Kingen, but Roar the Slayer might be able to slow him down, and Diablo able to get in there and finish him off. So BNK still dealing with the base.
Kaisa is in almost every scenario, and you remember your top laner is a split pusher, not a team fighter.
Well, we've now got a bit of a battle over a blue buff as the Solar Flare is going to split the Red Sea as Lehens goes in one more time. Gideon out again as Jiu. We said he didn't have the damage. That looked like a lot of damage. Only onto the Rel though, and he might actually have to trade his life for it as he opts into a 1v1 versus Diablo. Now Calix is just throwing them all away. Lehens, can you survive? The answer is absolutely yes as Diablo gets himself over the wall, but the rest of his teammates are all dead, ladies and gentlemen. And Gideon slams the Ezreal into the wall, and now it's a Scion against the world. And I'm having a hard time working out how the Scion lives in those odds. As now Kingen dashing on top of him. These inhibitors still dead for quite some time, and the Scion is just going to be relegated to his fountain. The Nexus goes down, and Nongshim are going to be the first team to 2-0 BNK.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.